Hey y'all, it's Caitlin, and I think I finally found the last pieces of the background, more or less. I want to put a comic in that spot just to balance, but I haven't decided which comic yet. And unless you want to buy like a expensive one, like I got Batgirl or the George Perez signature in, they usually come in like packs of 5, and I don't know what I'd do with the other 4, so still trying to figure that one out. Might put an action figure up there, I don't know. But speaking of comics, it's time for the second episode of Let's Talk Comics. And I spared you all from having to go the very first 2 months with a DC Comics book, but that will not last long. DC will return next month. But this is an Aftershocks comics called Monstro Mechanica. Now, or Manica, whatever way you pronounce it, I don't know. But now, before I even get into the book, let's reiterate a little bit on Aftershock. I talked about Aftershock comics a little bit in my Pride Pops Wants video. Aftershock is notorious for putting out, very good books, but they just don't last very long before they go on long hiatuses. This book is currently only 5 issues long, and it stopped, if I did the math right, in January. So we haven't seen, and it's not the end of the story. It's literally just like a cutoff. Like you were just cut off, and kind of like a season finale, I guess you could say, on a TV show. But not the series finale. So, and we don't know when it's coming back. We never do with Aftershock. So if you get this or any other Aftershocks book, be prepared to just kind of float away in the wasteland of what's going on for many months to come. But anyway, to the book. So, right on the very first issue, we see the 3 main characters. Her name is Isabel. He's pretty much a nameless robot. That's Leonardo da Vinci. So this book stars Leonardo da Vinci. Now we don't all know that the real dude was an artist, a scientist, a mathematician, and just about anything else you could think of. The dude had a lot of hobbies. But in this particular story, he's not only all that, but he creates weapons for war. That door keeps coming open. I think it's because of the air conditioner. I don't know, but it creeps me out every time. But anyway, ignore that. But he creates weapons for war. And there are a lot of warring areas that vie for his weapons. They all want his weapons because they're the best that's made at this time. This takes place during the Renaissance period, by the way. Isabel is his apprentice. Now, again, Renaissance age. And I'm sorry I keep knocking over the camera. But, the Renaissance age. That was a time where women were expected to get married, have kids, be a wife. That's it. That's it. Isabel is not like that. She dresses like a guy. She's a tomboy. She dresses like a guy. She acts more like a guy. She's into mechanics and engineering. Not exactly something that women were supposed to be into at that time. But Leonardo da Vinci doesn't care. He's like, you're good at what you do. You can be my apprentice. Now, there are times when he gets a little bit angry at her and kind of threatens to fire her, I guess, and then she'd be like nowhere again, because there's not that many people that would, hire a woman at that time to be working for them. Now, this robot is a wooden robot that Leonardo makes to pretty much be a weapon. And it is, what's the word I'm looking for? My mind went blank. This happens a lot and I hate it. He's dysfunctional, there we go. He's dysfunctional. He's not working quite to Da Vinci's standards. He's a little bit rogue. He doesn't really listen to the commands that he's given. So Leonardo orders Isabel to take the robot apart and you know, either they'll start again or they'll make something new. Isabel doesn't have the heart to do it, because even though it's just a robot, she thinks of him as a he. And throughout the story, you kind of see Leonardo getting really ticked off at Isabel for kind of siding with the robot. Like, the robot is lifeless. The robot isn't living. And there's other people that kind of, you know, like, he always calls the robot it. Other people call him a he. So, and he gets really annoyed when people do that, because it's an it. It's not supposed to be a he. But Isabel is determined to keep calling him a he. She talks to him. She, you know, interacts with him, and you get to see their relationship. This isn't like a Beauty and the Beast kind of thing. It's not a love relationship, but you get to see Isabel's relationship with the robot progress. Even the writer, Paul Allard, and by the way, it's also written by Chris Evingus. I don't know. I very rarely look at the writers and artists of comics, to be honest, so that's why I forgot to do it at the beginning of this episode. But anyway, but even the writer stated that he kind of lost a little bit of interest in Leonardo's side of the story, because he got so caught up with the relationship between the robot and Isabel, and everyone who I've talked to that's read this comic is the same way. Like, we don't really care about Leonardo, we want to know more about Isabel and the robot. That's where the story really is. So it's Beauty and the Beast kind of story in a way, but just not romantic. But other than that, it was meant to be a thriller, kind of. I wouldn't call it a thriller, but about just warring communities and the corruption of those communities, and there's a lot of it. Trust me. Now, I have heard people say, and I do agree, that there is a little bit too wordy when it comes to this. Like, I've started reading like books and stuff, and there's hardly any dialogue, and it's all description. Like, it's just too wordy for me. And I usually put those novels down and say bye-bye, and I'll go read something else. And I would put this comic, even though it's a comic, I would put it kind of in that category. It's still worth the read, to me. But it does get a little bit wordy at times. But now, the one thing I forgot to do last month was put an age group on it, to my opinion. Not official opinion, just because I haven't looked it up. But my official, for the movement, I would say 14 and up, probably, for the movement. With this one, I'd probably kind of lower it. I don't know if any like 12-year-olds would be too interested in it. But there is violence and stuff, but nothing horrendous, I want to say. Well, never mind, a scene just came back to me in my memory. Again, it's been January since I've looked at this book, but yeah, I might just put it back at 14 too. A lot of them that I read, I would put at like 14 age or up. We will get to some more adult themed comics, not like X-rated. Well, we'll just get to that when it comes to it. But anyway, not porno, but it's worth the read to me. It's only 5 comics, so it's not going to take you that long anyway. And it's just a very interesting, different story. And a lot of people think, you know, people who aren't into comics, they say comic books and like, oh, superhero stuff. Not everything is superhero stuff. Like, there's definitely some action going on in this series, but it's not necessarily superhero. So it's kind of nice to take a step back from the capes and the cowls and read about something different every once in a while. And again, the relationship between the robot and Isabel, definitely worth the read, according to literally everyone I know who has read this comic in the past. So anyway, guys, again, I will link down below where you can find issue number 1. Check your local comic book shops if you want to. This came out September last year, so it might be a little bit hard to get it. I doubt very many comic books would have an issue on hand, but they could order it for you. Aftershocks comics don't really sell out. ever. So they should be fairly easy to get your hands on if you wish to. So anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I hope I get a lot of support for this series because I really enjoy it. So I'm hoping you guys do too. And again, we're gonna be back with a DC comic. So everyone who's a huge fan of Marvel, I'm sorry, but you get what you get. There's gonna be Marvel comics on this channel, but seldom. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Remember, it's a community, not a competition. I'll see y'all later. Bye.